Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another WRO South Africa webinar. Today, we will be discussing RoboMission and the in-house challenge. We are launching it today, actually. Right after this meeting, later today, you'll be able to access the first level challenge as well as the general rules for our in-house. We also have our prize giveaway today, so if you haven't already, have a look at the Q&A as well as in the chat. I've posted a link there that you can go and complete our webinar survey. In order to be eligible for the prize giveaway, you must attend the webinar and have completed the survey. We have a wonderful prize today, and I hope it's going to go to someone here. So my name is Duncan. I will be leading us through the entire presentation today. I hope you enjoy it. We are discussing RoboMission, my personal favorite. I have been the RoboMission head judge for quite some time, and I absolutely love that category. It is my favorite one out of all of them. We also have Dani, our national organizer, with us today online. He will be answering some questions in the chat as well as at some later point. So remember, we have a Q&A session right at the end of our webinar where I will unmute your microphones and you can go ahead and ask your questions. If you have a question at any point, please feel free to go and type it into the Q&A section, otherwise into the chat. We will then refer to all of those later on when we get to our Q&A section. I want to say a big thank you as always to Resolute Robotics, our WRO sponsor. Without them, this would not be possible. We are so happy that they have come on board to be able to assist us in getting to as many children as possible and introducing them to this wonderful world of the World Robot Olympiad. If you haven't yet, check out their website. They've changed it recently, and they've got quite a few useful tips and resources there for you and your school. So make sure you check it out. Then, if you are looking for WRO equipment, there's no better place than Hands-On Technologies, the official Lego education provider here in Southern Africa. So anything Lego, anything WRO that you are trying to get a hold of, Hands-On Technologies is the place to go. So make sure you head off to Hands-On Tech to get all of your things, such as your mats, the kits, and if you're looking for any Lego robotics, they are the best to get them through. So our webinar today, first off, what is RoboMission? Well, RoboMission is a table-based challenge. It is about a robot that you use to solve known and practiced tasks. That means you receive these tasks beforehand, you build your robot for these tasks, you practice it, you code it, and you arrive at the competition with your pre-built robot, your pre-built code ready to run. The robot is restricted by the general rules, so there are some rules which govern how your robot should look, as well as its maximum weight. So make sure if you are participating in RoboMission, you read those general rules very carefully. For example, in the age groups are restricted to a certain number of motors and sensors. So make sure you read those general rules. In RoboMission, you are allowed teams of a minimum of 2 and a maximum of 3. That means if you've got a team of 1 team member, they will not be allowed to participate. And if you have a team of 4 team members, they will not be allowed to participate. It's only a team of 3 that is allowed to participate within RoboMission. There are then 3 age groups. We have the elementary age group, ages 8 to 12 years, the junior 11 to 15, and senior 14 to 19 years. How the age groups are decided, or how you decide which age group you are going to enter, it's by the age that your learner will be in the year of the competition. So if a learner is turning 13 years old this year on the 25th of December, they will fall within the junior age group. They will not be allowed to participate in elementary, even though, let's say in January, they're 12 years old, but in December they'll turn 13. They have to participate in the junior age group. Don't worry if you have registered teams and you've made a mistake. Our system will identify it, and you will receive an email from us to assist you in correcting this issue and guiding you through it. So don't worry if you are not sure. And again, if you are doing the registrations and things are not going your way, be sure to contact us and we can assist you. So what do you need in order to participate in the RoboMission category? So if you're going to begin, let's say you're brand new to this, what do you need to get going? The first thing is you need a competition mat. Now, these are specific to the age groups. So depending on which age group you are going to enter, you will need to buy that mat. You then need the element sets. There are 2 of them for the RoboMission category. You need the 45811 and then what we call the expansion set, the 45819. These are both available through Hands-On Technologies. You will need these to complete the elements for the RoboMission table, so make sure you at least have one of each of these sets per age group you are entering. So if you're going to be doing elementary and junior, you will need 2 45811 and 2 45819 boxes. You then need to make sure you read the game rules. This is very important. Without those game rules, you won't know what you're doing. So make sure you go to the WRO SA website and get the section on the game rules. You can then use any robotics platform you like. The RoboMission category has now been opened up. It's no longer a Lego only competition. You can use any robot you like. So no matter what you have, you can use it, whether it be a microbit, Arduino, whether you're using Lego, either the EV3, Spike, NXT, it is up to you. As long as you have a robot that is programmable, you may participate in the competition. You cannot use something that is remote control. So keep that in mind. If you have a robot that's remote controlled, you are not allowed to use it. It has to be autonomous. Then you need a programming device. This should be something that's portable, a tablet or a laptop. You are not allowed to use a cell phone within the competition area, so anything that's programmable via a cell phone will not be allowed to participate. So make sure you have something that is portable, and most importantly, make sure that it is charged. You do need that when you are competing. Then you will need time. If you want to do well in RoboMission, you need as much time as possible. You need time to read the rules, time for building and training and practicing on the mat. You need time for the actual competition itself and running through competition preparation. There should always be a little bit of time for fun. You need time for reflection. After every lesson you have, you should be reflecting on what has happened with the team's robot. You mainly need time for testing, and importantly, there has to be some kind of time for team building. So time is one of your most valuable assets when you are competing within RoboMission. If you're looking at competing in RoboMission and you've got about 2 weeks left, I advise you to work on the basics and try and get as much done as possible, but really you need as much time as possible if you are going to do well. And if you're going to go overseas and represent South Africa at the international final, your robot would have been worked on for an incredibly long time. So what challenges do we have for RoboMission this year? Let's jump right into it. So in the elementary, we have our wonderful elementary mat. This is the satellite at work mat, and we've got a couple of important things on the game mat. The first one is this rocket fuel, and the rocket fuel is this wonderful little white block over there. That's its little diagnosis, or its little thingy, and it needs to be taken to the rocket fuel area in that little shape over there. Right above it, we have a rocket that gets pushed along the rail, and this rail is stuck down to the game mat with double-sided tape, and you need to push it all the way to the end of the rail to score the maximum number of points. We then have these little cubes. They need to be taken right down through to the start area where you are starting your robot. All 3 of them need to be placed completely inside in order for you to score the maximum number of points. We then have down the bottom over here, satellites. What you'll notice is that there are 5 positions for satellites. However, only 4 will be on the game mat. These are randomized. So out of the 5 colors, yellow is currently missing. You will only have 4 of them as depicted here. They could be any of these colors in any of these positions, and that is the randomization. These wonderful little satellites need to be picked up and taken through to their matching colors on the opposite side of the game mat. If you do that, you will score your maximum number of points. We then have some interesting little pieces. We've got these two little guys over here. These are called astronauts, and they are stuck in space or walking on the planet's surface. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but they are there, and they're doing something important, so don't go and knock them over. If they are standing on the game surface, on the game mat, you will score points for them being there. These are your free points for RoboMission, so you don't have to do anything except knock them over. We then have this wonderful barrier. This again, do not knock over the barrier and you will score points. So those little items over there marked by the red cross, do not hit them and you will score points. So let's have a look at what points you get. So for bringing those 3 bricks to the start area, you will score 10 points per block for a maximum of 30. For our rocket fuel being placed in the rocket fuel assembly area, you will score 10 points if it is completely inside. If it's just touching, you will score 5 points. If it's out by a millimeter, it is touching and you won't get full points, you'll get the partial points. Then for our rocket, you have one red zone and the second red zone, the red marker. If your robot pushes the rocket and it goes past the first marker, so it's in between the first and second marker, you will score 5 points. If you push it all the way past the second marker, you get 15 points, the maximum score. Then for our tricky satellites, there are 4 of them on the game mat. It's worth a total of 80 points. For each one that you place completely inside of its matching color, you get 20 points. If you place one that it's touching outside of its matching color, or perhaps you've just put it into any random color, it's not standing on its own color, you will still score 5 points for that satellite. Then, for our free points, because these guys here are not moving, for each astronaut you will score 5 points, and for not hitting the barrier you score 20. That means the second your robot starts moving, you will have 20 points on your score sheet. The only way to lose those is to move these elements out of their zone. If you do that, you will not score those easy bonus points. There will also be a surprise rule. So the surprise rule will be something on the mat. We don't know how much it's going to be worth. We don't know what it is. And the surprise rule is given to a team 5 minutes before the start of the competition. It doesn't change. It's not part of randomization, and teams will know where it starts and how many points it is worth. It is a good idea to always attempt the surprise rule because it's worth generally quite a few points and can mean the difference between a gold medal and a silver. So our elementary this year is for a total of 155 points. That is quite a few points. So make sure you test it out, have fun, and just keep trying. Things are difficult, especially with the younger teams. They can only try their best. Try and help them along when they get stuck. And if a team is stuck doing the same thing over and over again, try and encourage them to move on to something else. We then have our junior mat. And on our junior mat, we have the same sort of start area as we do for our elementary teams. And for junior, we have to move a drone. The drone starts in the little square and it needs to be placed inside of the start area. Once we've completed our drone, we have a solar panel that is flipped up on our rover. This rover has one solar panel that's flipped up. It needs to be flipped down in order for us to score points. Now, this solar panel is only the one that is away from the start area. The one that is towards the start area will always be down. The one that is on its right-hand side will always be up. So that is the solar panel that you need to turn down. We then have these wonderful research elements. These are randomized on the points. We saw them move over there. They are randomized and we do not know which positions they will be in. They need to be taken to their matching color location. So red to red, yellow to yellow, green to green, and white to white. We then have a wonderful little water tank area. Your robot needs to collect 2 blue plastic balls and place them into the water box on the opposite side. So you need to collect them and move them to the opposite side. It is a pretty tricky thing to do, but I'm sure that we have teams that can do it. The last thing that you need to do is you need to get your robot to stop completely inside of the end square over there. You need to traverse this wonderful little area and stop inside of that point there in order for you to score points. If you drive your robot inside of there and then drive away, you will not score those points. How we score, we only score when the robot has stopped moving and the team's run is finished. So if you had a strategy of moving your robot into the area and then driving away, you will not score those points. So looking at the points that you can get for moving the drone, if it's completely inside of the start area, you will score 10 points. For moving, having it partially in, so just touching, you will only score 5 points. So you do get something if you don't get it completely in. For the solar panel, once it's unfolded, it needs to be completely unfolded. Both solar panels, so if you go and fold the one up and that one is still up, you will not score points for it. Both solar panels need to be unfolded in order for you to score 10 points. For each ball placed into the box, for each water tank, as it's called in the game rules, you need to place them into the tank and you will score 10 points per blue ball. For each of the research nodes, you have 15 points if it's inside of its matching color, completely inside. If it's touching or placed into the wrong color, don't worry, you get 10 points. For the robot moving into the finish area, you get a wonderful 12 points, really, for doing nothing. It is pretty easy to do, and I strongly recommend that you try and get your robot to that point. We then have our wonderful elements that should not be moved. And these elements, you will score 8 points for the large barriers. Those are the two big red ones next to the left and right of the robot. Then you have 6 of these smaller rocks that are placed on the game mat. Those you will score 3 points per little rock. So for our junior age group, we have a maximum of 166 points available to score. Again, there will be a surprise rule, so please make sure that you have something there, that you are able to do something, and that you at least ask your team to attempt it if they feel confident. Remember, it is worth more points than most things on the game mat, and I highly recommend that your teams attempt it if they feel comfortable with it. Moving on to our seniors, our senior age group. This is generally one of the most difficult challenges, and we have a wonderful design this year. Again, your robot starts in the start square over there, and it needs to move out and leave the start square. So the first thing that you can do is you need to move these nose cones for the rockets into their matching color, yellow to yellow and red to red. Then we have bolts that need to be taken to a matching marker block. So there we've got the red marker block. The red bolt needs to be placed across from it. The yellow with the yellow bolt are placed across from that. For each of these, you will score points. There are 4 of them. They will start in their designated color zone, but you must place them in their same marking spot, the corresponding color marking spot. We then have a large element on the game mat, one of the biggest I've seen at competition. It needs to be taken to our wonderful little area over there and rotated towards its color marker. So this one is showing blue, so we'll get points for moving the blue marker to face its wonderful little blue area. We then have a little flag. There are 2 flags on this little piece over here. You need to go and have your robot move the switches that you will find on that element to raise the flags. The flags must be raised completely in order for points to be scored, for full points to be awarded. We then have 2 little switches that need to be moved, 2 little pieces that need to be moved. One door, one hatch that needs to be pushed completely from the dark orange into the yellow, and a red piece that needs to be pulled out or pushed out, and so that it is touching the red square. If you can do that, you will score quite a few points. So we then have some elements that should not be moved. You'll notice that each of these game mats has elements that should not be moved. These are our free elements. So these 3 elements over here, the 3 walls, should not be touched. They should not be moved outside of the area. If you do that, you will score some points. So if we have a look at the points that have been awarded, for our nose cones, we get 10 points if they've been placed correctly inside of their color. If we've put them in the wrong color, we only get 5. However, these 2 elements have to be upright. They must be upright. If they've fallen over, you will score 0. For not moving any barriers, you get 7 points per barrier. For our bolts, they must be completely inside of their matching color. defined by their marking block, and you will score 12 points per bolt. If you place it in the wrong color or it's not completely inside, you score 5. For our slides, we have the swing and we got a slide. For the red one, you will score 9, and for the yellow, you will score another 9 points. For our large element, you need to place it so that it is completely inside and facing the block in order to score 28 points. If it's partly touching the area and facing the correct way, you will still score 14 points. You will not score 28 because it must be completely inside of its area. If it is only touching and it's facing the wrong way, you will still score 14 points. For our flags, you need to have the flag raised in order to score our 15. It is a pretty fun and easy challenge this year, I think. It is a really good challenge for our senior age group, and I can't wait to see the robots that teams have come up with in response to this challenge. I think it is quite exciting and it is quite a challenge, and I am really hoping that we will have, for the first time to my knowledge, a full score in our senior age group. That would be really great. Whether it will happen, I don't know, but I wish our senior teams the best of luck when we do it. Their challenge is worth a total of 158 points, a very random number, but you get 158. So having a look at what we have within the general rules. As you may not know, there has been a big change within WRO, within the RoboMission age group, where our points have changed. So you are able to use any robot you like, and with this, it means that we have had to make some changes to the general rules in order to accommodate all of the new robots that could be coming in. So in order for this, we have a maximum robot size. Your robot size maximum is the size of the start area, 250 millimeters by 250 millimeters by 250 millimeters. So make sure that you have your robot built to those specifications if you want to be able to run during the scoring time. If your robot is not of that size, your robot will not be allowed to run during scoring. So please make sure your robot fits those criteria. There is then a weight restriction on the robots, and it is a 1.5 kilos. Robots will be weighed, so make sure your robot weighs the correct amount. Use a scale to ensure your robot is the correct weight. This will mainly affect robots that are not made of Lego because we need to check that they are there, and we will make sure that robots are tested if they are identified as possibly being a bit overweight. You are allowed to run in scoring for a maximum of 2 minutes. That means your robot has 2 minutes in order to complete as many tasks on the game mat to score as many points as possible. If your robot exceeds 2 minutes, what happens? The judge stops the timer and your robot will be stopped and your robot will be scored from that point. If your robot's running for 2 minutes 30 during practice, or if your robot's running during your practice time at your lab, make sure it's under 2 minutes. You want it to be as quick as possible in order to go through. So how scoring works within RoboMission, it's first the team with the highest score. If two teams are tied, it's then down to time, the team that scored it the fastest. Robots should have a kill switch. So this means that you can put a switch on your robot that will stop it dead. For our Lego robots, this could just be the back button or the stop button on the robot itself, on the brick itself. However, you are welcome to put a switch onto the robot in order to stop it. So make sure you have a kill switch on your robot. It's a very good practice, especially if your robot's being naughty and driving off the mat. You want to be able to hit the stop button so that it stops dead and you can score all of your points. We then have teams that have to touch the robot. So one of the things that we have implemented in South Africa, it's also within the international final, to tell a judge that it's time to stop, that you have finished your scoring round, your team must touch the robot. Hence, having the kill switch means that your team will touch the kill switch, and we will be able to recognize as judges that you have ended your scoring run. So make sure that you are practicing and that you are getting your teams into the habit of touching that stop switch when their robot is running, so that it indicates to the judge, I've stopped my robot, it's time to score me, let's see how we've done. Teams must then provide an A4 specification sheet. This will be provided a bit later on in the year. It will be sent to everybody who's registered. And what this entails you to do is to write down all of the information about your robot, such as its weight, its current dimensions, what kind of controller you are using, the voltage of your batteries, what sensors you have on your robot, and how many motors you have on your robot. It'll be basic things like that, as well as a picture of your robot. For supplying this, you will receive 5 points, and that could be the difference between a gold and a silver medal. So make sure that you have completed the sheet. It will be available soon, and you need it for each of your teams. So make sure you have it done, especially if you want to get those bonus 5 points. There's then randomization. Randomization happens during the quarantine round. When teams arrive at the competition, they will have a practice round. After practice, when the timer hits 0, all robots should be on the quarantine table. From that point, they will be measured and weighed, and the head judges will conduct randomization. They will place the randomized elements randomly on the game mat, and all competition tables in the venue will have the same randomization for all teams during the scoring round. Once the judges have completed randomization on their tables, teams will be called up one by one to score. We then have the surprise rule. Again, this stays on the game mat. It is given to the teams 5 minutes before the teams begin, and it is something for quite a few extra points. It is generally easy to do, and I do advise that if you are wanting to do well, the surprise rule is a very good thing to attempt. Robots must be different from online solutions. So this is a very big thing within the World Robot Olympiad. We have disqualified many robots throughout the years because of this issue. Teams go and they watch robots online, and then they build the exact same thing. And when they arrive at competition, we can identify those robots because generally there will be another one that matches your robot there. Otherwise, we do have a list of most of the robots that are found online. So if your teams are watching robots online, please make sure that your robot is different. If you arrive at the competition with a robot that is an online solution, you may still participate in the competition. However, you will be penalized between 50 to 75% of your score. So you will not be able to win, and you will not proceed to the national final or the international final. If robots are found to be online solutions at the international final, as we had last year as an example, they are penalized 50%. There are warnings given, and those teams will not be allowed to win the competition. So make sure your robots are not those online solutions. If you are worried and you are panicked about, maybe my robot's online, I don't know, I know the kids have been watching some things, maybe one of them has it, you are welcome to ask for our opinion. We can only give you an opinion, and then you can try and make a decision there. Best thing to do is watch the video yourself, ask your teams to be honest with you, and if they have said that they've got an online solution, make sure there are changes to the robot in order for it to be different and work in a better way. So how to enter the WRO competition for RoboMission? First thing you must do is to visit the WRO SA website. Registration is currently up and running. You can go through and register. Our last webinar was all about the registration process. So if you haven't yet, I strongly suggest going to watch that video and check out how to actually register your teams. It is pretty simple and easy to do. So make sure you have an opportunity to watch it so that you can see how it all works and that it will run smoothly and you don't run into any issues when registering. In order to participate, there are a couple of things that you will need. The competition mat, We have a value of 1,150 to 1,500 Rand. This depends on the area that you're in for a delivery fee. There is an entry fee of 300 Rand per participant, not per team. So if you're entering a team of 2, it will be 600 Rand, and a team of 3 will be a total of 900 Rand. For the game elements, those brick boxes, 899 Rand for code 45811, and 45819 is 650 Rand roughly. So you will need those things in order to participate within RoboMission. And again, you can get all of that from Hands-On Technologies. Oh, I have another slide there. Don't know why I have that. And now we get to something new. We have our in-house challenge. So for those of you that have been around WRO for quite some time, you may have participated in the in-house challenge before. It is a wonderful challenge designed here in South Africa for teams from anywhere and at any level. Anyone can participate, whether you have participated in Future Innovators, Future Engineers, even in RoboMission, you are more than welcome to participate as well in the in-house challenge. And the in-house challenge is a very simple competition to run. It has a very low entry level and is designed as a way to keep robotics going throughout the year, because we found that after provincials, the teams that don't go through to nationals give up on robotics or just stop doing something robotic in their clubs. So we've introduced the in-house challenge as a way to keep robotics going throughout the year. So have a look at our in-house challenge. It will be live today, and you can go and check it out and see if your kids can participate in it. I'm sure that they can. So what is the in-house challenge? It is a South African created challenge. We created it ourselves here at WRO South Africa. And you use the Junior RoboMission mat, the Mars Exploration mat, in order to compete in the in-house challenge. You will also need the element set 45811. If you have the 45811 set, you can then use it to compete in the in-house challenge. It is nice, simple, and easy to do. There are 3 different challenge levels. They are based on difficulty. We have level 1, which is our easiest challenge, level 2 being medium, and level 3 is set at a slightly more difficult challenge than you may expect. We are using different techniques in each of these challenges. We are testing teams' use of sensors, teams' mechanics, and just their general problem solving. Each level you will receive a certificate for. So if you do level 1, you'll get a level 1 certificate, level 2 certificate, level 3 certificate. So you can compete in any of these levels or all of them. You can pick and choose. If you decide you want to try level 1 and level 3, you are more than welcome to have your teams attempt any of these levels, record their scores, and then submit them through the WRO SA website. Again, you can attempt any of these challenges. You don't only have to do one. Your entry fee allows you to complete any 3 levels. So how does it actually work? Well, it's run by you, the coach. The coach will set it up, and you will run it in your own club or your home, wherever you may be, your own venue. And through your venue, you will have all of your kids come to you. They will run the event. You will run it under kind of test conditions. You want them to sort of score as best they can. How it works is teams arrive, they reprogram their robots, and you will then score them based on how many points they get per run. You record those scores anytime before the 31st of October. So with it being released today, if you wanted to have your teams attempt it, let's say tomorrow, you are more than welcome to and record those scores. You keep them saved somewhere on a computer, hopefully, and then we'll submit them through the WRO SA website during October. That is our scoring month. So from the 1st of October right to the 31st, you can submit your in-house scores for any or all of the levels, and you will receive certificates from November. It is very easy to implement. So why do we want to run it? Well, one, it's easy to implement. You require very little to get it going. It's open to any robotics device. So whatever robot you have, you can enter the in-house challenge. It is very good for preparing teams for WRO events as it follows a similar format to what you may experience in the WRO competition itself. You also have no need for travel. So you do not need to organize a bus. You do not need to pay for petrol. It can be done at home, in your school, in your club throughout the year, right up until the end of October, and you don't have to go anywhere to do it. You could run it as an in-house event. You could also invite another school and have an inter-school event. So you can come up with your own way of running and having fun with the in-house challenge. You can use the same robot and programming device with multiple teams. That means if you're in a school with limited devices, you can run in-house at different times with different teams using the same robot. Teams just have a turn. You could say on Monday is slot A, on Tuesday is slot B, and those teams can come through to your lab and they can run the in-house challenge. You are also allowed to submit a team of one. So if you are a parent and you want your child to participate, you can submit them. They can work at home or by themselves, and they can go through and compete in the in-house challenge and see how they do with all three levels. You do not have to have a team of two. You do not have a team of three. You can have a team of one if you like. The maximum number, however, is 3 team members allowed. You are also more than welcome to adapt the game rules. If you find that some things are too difficult, let's say you haven't taught your teams how to use a color sensor, it's one of the requirements in the competition, but you haven't taught it to them, you can omit that and give them the points for it anyway. You can change the however you like so that it is either easier or more difficult for your teams. You do not have to follow the rules to the letter. You can change them as you like. So please feel free to adapt and change the rules to fit your environment, to fit your teams. You do not have to do what the rules say. As long as you submit the score with the maximum of 300 points, so within the 300-point range, that is perfectly fine. And we are very happy and that you can participate in that way. We then have a very important thing for me. It introduces you as a coach and possibly other teachers that you've roped in to assist you into the judging process. So through judging your own teams, you will learn what the judging process is like, how teams compete under pressure, how difficult it is for teams to not ask for help, and what issues they may run into. This is just a little snippet of what you can learn as a judge, and judging is open to anybody and everybody. So by practicing it through the in-house challenge, you will have a good idea of what judging entails. It is also a very low entry cost, and you'll see that when we get to the entry costs, you will see just how low it is, and your challenges can be used as skill assessments for your teams. Remember, you can edit these competitions and make them however you want. So if you have a particular skill that needs to be assessed and you think that it can fit well within the in-house challenge, you are more than welcome to do it. It is going to be fun for all teams and coaches. Remember, it should be about fun. We want to encourage teams to participate in robotics. So please make sure that the teams have fun, and more importantly, that you should have fun. If you're not having fun as a coach, there is something wrong. Your entire school or club can be involved in the in-house challenge. Again, you can run in-house events in your school or inter-house events, and everybody can be involved all the way from grade 1 right up to matric. Anyone and everyone can participate in the in-house challenge. So the costs to participate. A 350 Rand cost per school or club. So if you are a school with, let's say, 1,000 children, it will cost you 350 Rand to enter all 1,000 children into the competition. You will then have to run through all 1,000 of them and submit all their scores to the WRO website. So please keep that in mind. You don't want to do massive amounts, and if you are going to do massive amounts, you need to plan your time very carefully. You then need to buy the competition mat as well as the element box. So you need those two things in order to get started with the in-house challenge. Registration for the in-house will open on the 1st of August. So how to register for it? You need to visit the WRO SA website from the 1st of August right up till the 30th of September and register your school for the in-house challenge. We have done this because the challenge level 3 will be launched on the 1st of August, and we want to keep it separate to what's already happening within greater WRO. We want it to be more fun, so we've pushed the registration a bit later so that it is not seen to be part of all of this, and you don't have to stress as much as you may be. So with our challenges, there will be special release dates. We have level 1, which will be released later today. And the challenge for this level 1 is called Off-World Offloading. So you can have a look in the next slide at what the game mat looks like and what you need to do. Level 2 will be released on the 1st of May. Level 3 will be released in June. So again, from June, you are able to record all of your scores for level 1, 2, and 3, and then in October, submit them through the WRO website. Having a look at our competition mat, your robot will start in the white square over here, and all you need to do is move it out of the white square and you will score points. Wow, isn't that fun? Then you have a drone, a wonderful green drone that needs to be taken to its observation area, just right in front of it, not too far away, and you will score points. We then have a construction vehicle. This construction vehicle is currently sitting on a charge pad and needs to go back to work. Your robot needs to take it to the zone it needs to work in, and that is anywhere where you can see a Martian surface. So anywhere that matches the sand or the Juni color, your robot needs to take that element to. We then have two construction packs. These construction packs need to be picked up and taken to what we call the construction zone in order for habitats to be built before humans arrive on the planet. We then have my favorite element on the game mat, what I call a mining detonator switch. There is a red boulder. You need to push the switch. It will knock the boulder off and flying onto the game mat, and you will score points for doing that. So for knocking the game switch, the detonator switch, you get 40 points. For having the boulder touching the game mat, it's a wonderful 20 points. For each construction pack, you score 40 if it's completely inside of the construction area. For moving the construction vehicle anywhere on the game mat that is touching the Martian soil, you score 40 points. For moving the drone into an observation area, your 40 points, and just for leaving the start area you get 20. We then have two blue relay towers. The ball that sits on top of these towers must still be sitting on top of that tower when your robot is finished, and you will score 20 points for each of those balls. Now, that is for a maximum of 300 points on the game mat. Again, you can change this challenge as much as you want. You can have it do whatever you want. You can make it more difficult. You can make it easier. And some elements that you see in level 1 will remain for level 2 and level 3. So you won't have to program from scratch when we go up to level 2 and level 3. So are you up for the challenge? Are you ready to compete within the in-house? I'm not sure. I think you can though. And you are more than welcome to register for it in August. If you have questions about it, you're welcome to ask, and you can always send us an email. We're happy to answer any questions you may have. And again, if you are looking for any of your equipment, WRO equipment, you can get it through hands-on technologies. So please be sure to contact Hands-On Tech if you are interested in competing in the in-house and you don't have the elements you need. They'll be able to assist you with your in-house preparation. Some important contact information before we jump to something I know you are all waiting for. You may have noticed that I have closed the webinar form, so you are no longer able to put in your entry for the webinar form, which means that we have a prize giveaway winner. And our prize giveaway winner for today and for this webinar is, let's see, well, I have to go and start my thing again. Bum, ba, da, bum. We have a winner, and our winner is Peter LaRue. Peter LaRue, congratulations. You are the winner of this Lego set that we have. We will be couriering it down to you, and I hope you enjoy it. But now we get to, for me, the most important part of these webinars, and that is our Q&A. So if you have any questions, I'm going to unmute everybody now, and you are more than welcome to either unmute yourself and ask your question. Otherwise, I do see that we have some questions sitting in the chat. You are also welcome to put your questions into the chat and we will answer those now. I see Donnie's been doing a good job of monitoring the chat and answering as much as possible. So let's have a look. If you've got a question, I see we've got some hands up. You are welcome to unmute and ask your question.
I don't know if it's okay that I go first.
Of course, yes.
Okay, great. Hi, thanks so much for a very informative session. I'm looking forward to hosting an in-house challenge this year. I've just started with a robotics club at our school, and most of my questions have been answered, except for do we need extension packs of Lego to build onto our existing robots? I use the Edison robots, and it comes with its own, extension packs, or do I need to buy specific Lego products? And, I don't even know if it's going to be, how that's going to work together.
It's a very good question. I'm happy you've asked it. You don't have to go out and buy expansion packs. You can use what you have that's available to you. So if you want to cable tie things onto a robot, you're more than welcome to. If you want to glue things onto it, you're more than welcome to. It's up to you. We have no restriction on how the robot should look, what you need for it. And it's really based on what you see in the challenge. Once you've read the rules, you can decide whether the robots you have are capable of doing it. Remember, you can change the challenge itself to make it so that your robots can do it. So for example, let's say you don't have the ability to build a claw on your robot. Perhaps maybe you are using something that doesn't allow you to change it. In that instance, you could say that once the robot has entered the area, the team is allowed to pick up the element and put it on top of the robot to be driven to the next location. You can change the mat however you want to make it adaptable and easy for you to do it. So I would say you don't need to get an expansion pack. You certainly don't need to invest in Lego products if you want to do it. The only thing that you will need that is Lego is going to be that element box, and that's to build the actual game elements that are on the mat. So I would say that's probably the only thing that you may need to do. With that, though, I have to say this because I did forget. We have based level 1 on the most basic robot possible. So any robot that is entry level should be able to complete level 1 completely. So if you have a, let's say, Lego WeDo or a Spike Essential kit, you should be able to complete level 1 100%. Level 2 and level 3, you may struggle a little bit, but again, you can change the challenge as you need to adapt it to your needs. I hope that answers your question.
Great, thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
So I see we've got a question in the chat there of, can we confirm that teams can do both RoboMission and the in-house? Yes, you are welcome to do RoboMission and in-house because the in-house challenge takes, or the in-house challenge is after our national final. It doesn't affect anything. It's also online and open to anybody and everybody. So you are more than welcome to compete in both a proper WRO category Explorer, Future Engineers, Future Innovators, RoboMission, and RoboSports, and then compete in-house later. That's why we have it after. So there's enough time for you from September all the way to October to prepare for the in-house. Any other questions? Let me check the Q&A and see what's happening over there. So there's a question about, can we use a built bot or something that's been pre-built? So let's say you want to use a Sphero, for example, maybe a B-bot to compete in the in-house challenge. You are more than welcome to use it. You can use whatever you like. It could be even a remote controlled car. Try and come up with something that you can compete with. It doesn't have to be specific. Again, you can match it to whatever you want. So if you wanted to remote control something for in-house, you are more than welcome to remote control something to complete the challenge. Remember, the purpose of the in-house challenge is to introduce robotics to kids, whether it be through coding or engineering. We want children to have fun, to problem solve, and to work together as a team to solve these wonderful problems that we have. So you can use whatever you like. And if you're not sure, you are more than welcome to email us and we will do our best to assist you and answer your question. Okay, anything else, you are welcome to just unmute and ask away, whether it be about RoboMission, Future Innovators, WRO in general, where the competition international is happening this year. You can ask anything at all about World Robot Olympia at South Africa. This is always the awkward part of the webinar where we just sit in silence for a few minutes.
Then I'll come in, Douglas. Thank you very much. What a great presentation. You can see Duncan's been working on his PowerPoint skills, moving all the objects around with his pointer and all sorts. It's actually been fun for me to watch too. Just something that I'd like to discuss relating to, advancing your students or learners or team members to RoboMission too quickly. Remember, entry level is in-house, and Duncan has explained all the benefits thereof. The next step would be the Explorer Challenge, which is very similar to in-house, but there what happens is your face-to-face competitions, and most importantly is each team of 2 or 3 participants has to have their own robot and device for the face-to-face competition, which obviously immediately adds limitations. And those are the experiences that the kids need to go through before they actually get to RoboMission. Because remember, RoboMission, first of all, each robot, every team's robot has to be unique and cannot look like anybody else's robot. And needs more motors and sensors to be able to do all the different tasks. But the most important thing about RoboMission is there you've got 3 rounds of competition of 2 minutes where you're going to get the highest score possible in the fastest time. But for each round of competition, typically the randomizations change. And to be able to deal with those randomizations in an autonomous way, it is very important that you understand, as the mentor teacher, you're going to need the skills to be able to introduce those kids, and especially only to kids who are going to be in a position to actually understand and be able to do those things themselves. So just be mindful of that, and that you don't race children into the RoboMission challenges without giving them the opportunity to enjoy this and also build confidence by getting scores through in-house and then through Explorer, and then taking them to the RoboMission categories. Thanks, Doug. I don't know if you want to add to that.
Thanks, Tony. I think that's perfect, and that's very good advice for anybody looking at RoboMission. I remember my team's first participation in the RoboMission category. We went in with a robot that could do full points in 2 minutes. We got to the competition and there was a robot there that could do it in, I think it was 20 seconds flat at that stage. And my team was dismayed because they were not ready for that. They thought that they had done very well. They weren't ready for the level that RoboMission does bring in. That's why entering, as Dani said, the in-house challenge as well as Explorer is a very good step, because it prepares them to meet teams like that. It prepares them for the competition, and most importantly, it prepares them for the judging process and the stress that they are going to be under when they compete at a physical event. So I think your explanation was perfect, Donnie, and thank you for bringing that in. I see we've got a question, and I think this is a very good question. Will there be a Future Innovators competition too? Now, if you are talking about an in-house Future Innovators, we are working on something. I don't think it will be ready this year, but we are trying to work on a way that we can have Future Innovators as an online competition. However, there will be an informative webinar on Future Innovators and the Explorer category. That will be our next webinar. I'm not sure of the date. I can't remember just in my mind right now, but our next webinar will be all about Future Innovators and Explorer. So if you are interested in Future Innovators, be sure to attend that webinar. We will be having another prize giveaway there to try and get as many people as possible to attend and learn about this wonderful category that we have as Future Innovators. And if you don't know, Donnie, our own Donnie Heymans, is the head judge for the Future Innovators category internationally. So he's probably the best person on the planet to ask about Future Innovators. So if you have any questions, you are welcome to ask away. Again,
Thanks. If I can add,
yes, Donnie.
if I can add to the Future Innovator, I actually read it not as an in-house thing. So it's actually interesting that you read it as in-house because we're dealing with in-house. So just as a general comment around today, so obviously RoboMission and in-house were dealt with today, and in-house is a table competition. But obviously from a WRO perspective, the national to international competition, there is Future Innovators, definitely. It is on the website. And also, obviously, the other two categories, which hopefully you'll participate in the future, which is Robo Sports and Future Engineers.
Perfect. Thank you, Donnie. So that all of you know, we will have our next webinar, as I said, Future Innovators and the Explorer category. The webinar after that will all be about Future Engineers and Robo Sports and some judging. So make sure you attend our webinars. I hope you are finding them useful. Recordings will be available for all webinars, so if you miss one, be sure to check the resources page on our website and you can access the webinars that you have missed. Again, if you've got questions, anything WRO, you're welcome to email us and we will do our best to answer them. So if there are no more questions, I am happy to go ahead and end the webinar. So thank you everybody for attending. I hope it has been informative and I hope that you come through for the in-house challenge. It is a wonderful thing to get involved in. And if it's your first time, your first introduction to WRO, the in-house is the best way to get involved. And I can promise you, once you've done in-house, we will be seeing you at those physical events, both as a judge and with your teams participating. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Good luck with all of your World Robot Olympiad preparations. Remember